This is Lee with 82 Game and 12. YouTube channel Sons of Liberty 75. We are, let's see, reach across here. See, I think this one's already, yeah, that one's already went out. So still go a little bit. So, well, it's really not going to do much, is it? We have the 1420 turn. We finished the French phase, and now we're going to the British phase. And the British, see if I can do something about these. Light for now. The British only have one order, and it's over here. Attack order here. The rest of the British forces have no orders. So I don't expect much to happen anywhere else on the map. So this should be a fairly quick phase, but we're going to jump right into it. And so you've got this chart. Okay, this is for the battalion and brigade game procedures, and it's the sequence of play. And they've got it broken down easy for you to understand. And I like the different color codes for the different segments. I don't know why they did. I guess because this is both movement. So you have the movement, and you also have the reserve segment, which is movement. It's just the opponent that's actually going, the non-phasing player. And so, you know, they have really raised the bar in quality of materials that are provided. This is really an outstanding production. I've already discussed some of the flaws, but you can still play the game and enjoy it. You could just do a few, you could play it as is. And if you watch some other videos, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the terrain that doesn't seem to be correct over here. And one way to probably solve that would be just to change this from a dry stream bed, as it says in the game materials, is to make it a stream. That's one way to deal with the movement back and forth from the eastern flank. Eastern ridge is actually over here, and you've got the western ridge over here. So this is like the middle, from the middle to the western ridge. Movement of troops and cavalry, and of course artillery, that's already really taken care of, because you can't even cross that stream, that dry stream bed. So you make it a stream, and then that makes it a hex obstacle, which is going to cause morale check, plus the added movement required to move across it. So that would be one way to deal with that. Still, it needs to have steeper contour lines, or So in a hex, some of these hexes need to have multiple contour lines, much like what you see over here. Right along here, there's some that are pretty close. Okay, here's one, 2, 3, but where the dot, where you're actually the middle is actually you just go from, that'd be 2 contour lines. There's actually 3 in that hex. So if you moved across into this, then you'd have to pay, 2 plus is all of your movement, and then cavalry, all of their movement. Of course, artillery couldn't, and really, I don't think cavalry would be able to maneuver. We've talked about that. I brought in the other maps, and we looked at that and so forth. So, but you can still play the game and the battle, and with just a few modifications. I don't like having to make modifications, but in order to get the terrain right historically, that's what you'd have to do. And then the counter issue. These little dials that I have, okay, you can get those at Dollar Tree for $1.25. You can get a whole pack of them, okay. And if you think you need more, and it comes with multiple colors, so you can get 2 for $3, and then some tax, So that's. Let's see, that light is just. Let's turn it back. Let's just point it to the ceiling. There we go. So that's how you could handle that. So it really shouldn't be much of an issue there. So I want to see here if I put this light back over here. Yeah, there we go. I need to put it right there and move this stuff up. Maybe I can even put it in here like that. No, it's going to have to go to there. Yeah, okay. And then this one here I can put over here like that. Okay. The mechanics of this system, and this is my opinion, and I've played I've played all of the Napoleonics that I know of that are out there, except for there's a Napoleon 2.0 or something like that. I've never played that series, but most of the popular or more popular Napoleonic systems out there I've played, and I like a lot of them, but I think if I had to choose one, I would choose this one for tactical. If you're talking about grand tactical, this is the one I would choose. I think it gets right what combat was like. And the way that the map looks, the counters look, just the production value of all of the materials that you get. You get the 3 rule sets, which I don't really care for the last rule set. I always thought, well, that should have been included, in maybe a separate module or something. But now the thing is, have to wait for other volumes to come out to really say, okay, this is the one I would choose, because we've only got this one volume, but it has 2 battles in it. Both of them are smaller battles. And so the next volume, I think it's just dealing with Fuentes de Honoro. So, and I'm excited to see how that turns out. So let's get started here. The British are going to start with their rally segment, the recovery segment. It's not the rally segment. It'd be the rally phase. So we've got the recovery segment, which is rally phase, cavalry recovery phase. Now, they don't have any cavalry. They've all been wiped out or chased off or whatever. Then we have the artillery resupply phase. And then the fatigue recovery phase is for the brigade gain. But I'm going to take a look at that because I really like that fatigue. I like to see that fatigue built into the games because that would be historically accurate. These soldiers can't just keep going, hour after hour after hour. Fatigue is going to sit in. And when that happens, then it makes cowards of us all. Fatigue, okay, makes you a coward because that's just what happens. You get tired and you just can't fight anymore, and so you turn and run. So let's start doing our rolling for fatigue, for not for fatigue, but for recovery. So we've got this unit. Well, all of these units over here can't recover because they're in a zone of control or influence. I think they call it control, zone of control. Some places call it a zone of influence, but it's a zone of control in this game. And one of the things I just was curious about is that when a unit enters an enemy zone of control, it's called zone of control, combat units must stop when they voluntarily enter an enemy zone of control. They can still change facing and expend movement points, such as changing formation. And I don't know, I just thought that cavalry, because they are, on horses, that they could move through a zone of control. And the only thing that's going to happen as they move through is, of course, they're going to be fired on, reaction fire. But that's not what the rules here says. Combat units. So that would be something that I would question, is just ask, hey, was that intended? And what was the reasoning for, maybe because you're getting so close that you're getting fired on, or the threat of fire slows you down, maybe, or I don't know. You would try to just, if you're going to go by, you're going to go around wider instead of getting so close, maybe. I just like to say, hey, what was the, because so many other games, Napoleonic games, cavalry doesn't have to, stop. In a zone of influence or zone of control, they can ride through, but as they do, they're going to get fired on. So And if you don't want to get close to cavalry, artillery, of course, because they've got a reaction zone of 2 hexes. So there that is. So these units here are not able to roll for recovery. So we would have to move over here to this unit. Okay. So they are disordered. So what do I do with the dice? Oh. I rolled a 5. So they will stay disordered. Okay. Then we move over here to this broken unit. Okay. Nightingale. So that's minus 15. Plus 4, so that's going to be minus 11. Ooh. I rolled a 5, and now I rolled a 6. Okay. So, a unit that is broken, fails their morale check, is going to rout and move 3 hexes. So, Nightingale did not do any good there. So 1, 2, 3, they're heading for the retreat area back there. Okay, we got this other broken unit right there. Minus 15, 72. So they're going to recover to shaken. Do I have any more shakens over here? Oh yeah, I do have one. Okay. Now they have to, when they recover, they have to go to column. So I use this those red discs to signify that they have gone to column. It just makes it easier than worrying about which their exact, whether they're facing this hex side or the hex spine. Okay. Now this unit out back here, Wellesley's with, and they're routing. And so minus 20 plus 6 is minus 14. I rolled a 12. So they are gone. They were at full strength. So that's part of Nightingale's group. So Wellesley was not able to stop them from getting out of there. Okay, so if we look across, all of these guys are in a zone of control. Okay, all of these units. So none of those units can roll. This unit here can. So let's move in a little closer to them. They're disordered. They've got burn with them. And so the top unit is the one that's going to roll. So minus 5 plus 2 is a minus 3. 83. Okay, they recover. Okay, then we look over here where we've got this cavalry onslaught. This unit can't roll because he's in this zone of control. This unit here can roll. Okay. So minus 10. Rolled a 91. So they improved to disordered. And we'll go to this broken unit. Right there. So minus 15, 40, they routed. Okay. Now, they got to go across this stream or this river. Let's pull back. So, because they are to retreat right back through here. Okay, and so I guess they could just go right up that way. Either, well, yeah, they would. Let's see. They can go through that unit that's routing there because they're routing too. So they could go 1, 2, 3. So they're not quite gone yet. And they could go right across this ford here. Okay. But if they fail their route roll, then they're of course going to be gone. Okay, so next is this unit here with Trant. Okay, minus 20, plus 1, minus 19. 53, okay, of course they're going to be gone. And there's no reason to keep Trant. So all of the Portuguese units are done. They didn't have very good morale. So, all right. So I've got 2 more. This unit here, disordered. Minus 5. 78. They're going to pass. And then this unit over here, minus 5. 35. They're going to stay disordered. Okay, so now, I don't think, yeah, we do have, I was going to say, I don't know that we have any artillery that's low, but we do. We've got this artillery right there. And we have to roll an 8 or a 9. That's a 2. And then the one right here, I have to be on a road, trail, so forth. Okay, a 5. So that is out, but they're not on road or trail, so they've got to actually back out of there. Okay, so next, we have the fire segment. Okay, right here. They're disordered and in column. So they're going to be firing strength of, let's see, they got a strength of 1. They're disordered, so -1. Opponents in columns, so +1. So plus strength of 1. 28's not enough. Okay. Then over here, shaken. Targets in clear. So they have a strength of 5 because they're in line. -1 for being shaken. +1 with the target being in column. So it's going to be strength of 5. 47. Okay, that's just a morale hit. And they rolled a 26, so -10. They're shaken. They're going to be broken. So they failed theirs, and now they're broken. And they've got to move back 3. Okay. So actually, they're trying to move toward Torres Vedras. So they're going to move back this way. So 1, 2, 3. That's where they're going. That. Okay. Okay, so we've got both of these guys are firing here. So the first one is disordered. They have a strength of 4, -1. The target, though, is in line. So his strength is going to be a 3. All right, rolled a 6, so no effect. Now this unit here has a strength of 4, -1 for being shaken. So again, 3. Okay, 87. Okay, so I said 3. 87 is going to be morale -10. They rolled a 74, but of course they're shaken, so that's -20, so that'll be a 54. They passed. Okay. So now we have this skirmisher here, SED, strength of 2, -1, so strength of 1, firing here, which is going to be in the flank, which is going to give a +2. So they're at 3. A 32 is going to be a morale check. I rolled a 91, so they passed. So that reserve grenadier is holding tough. Okay. But there's some artillery that's on its way there to... Plus there's that artillery right here can't fire because these units are in the way. So they need to move out of the way to allow this artillery unit. And I've got to look. The artillery may be able to prolong up, but it would be in the back and then have to move to the front. So that would take like 2 turns. If these guys were just to back up, then it would just, that's going to be canister. That's something to look at. That's something to think about. Okay. So now, let's see here. Let me come over like this. Take it from that angle. Get a little closer here. Okay. Nightingale's there alone. All right, so this is the target. They're disordered. They have a skirmisher, so that's going to be -1. Okay, they're in clear terrain. This unit only has a strength of 2. They should have the bottom guy on top. So that's going to be -1 is the strength of 1. Skirmisher is -1, +1 for being in column. So now you're looking at just Z. Is that right? 0? No, 1. Strength of 1. 27's not enough. Okay. That unit is firing at this unit, who's in shrub. And he is a skirmisher. So that's going to be -2, +1 for being in column. So -1 to 4 is 5. To 5 is 4. 43. Okay, that's going to be morale check. 37. It might be shaken. Yep. He's going to be shaken. Forced back. Okay. Next, we have that skirmisher firing at this unit, who's in scrub but in column. That cancels it out, so it's going to be strength of 1. 71 is going to be a morale check, and they rolled a 32. So we get rid of that for now. They become shaken. And as they move back, okay, they are fired on. Let's see. No, this is the front zone, front hexes of this unit. So no, they can't fire on them. Okay. Now this unit could have fired on this unit when it backed up. But it was actually firing at this unit. Okay. It's all supposed to be like happening simultaneously, I think. So, okay, so now we have this unit, which is not going to be able to fire because the artillery is on the top and they're out of ammo. So they won't be able to fire, but this unit here will be able to. They got a skirmisher, -1 for being shaken, and this unit here has a skirmisher. It's going to be 0. 47's not enough to do anything. This unit can fire. They're in column. Can only fire with a strength of 1. They're firing into this unit's front. That'd be front hexes still. So, but they're in column, but they have a skirmisher. So that's going to be 1. 42 is not enough. 42, we got to get in 60 at least. Okay, so now this unit is firing into this unit's flank. Okay, they're in column, so they only have a strength of 1. And they are shaken. So that's a 0 now, but they get the +2. So they're going to have a strength of 2. 89. 89 is a morale check minus 10. Okay. They rolled a 64. They're disordered, so that's minus 15. So that's going to be 49, and I think that's going to be enough, yeah. So they held strong. All right, so now we've got Bathurst and this infantry battalion in column. It's firing right there, strength of 1. There's an SED, it'll be a 0, strength of 0. 32 is not enough. This unit here doesn't have anybody in range to fire at. So this hasn't unlimbered yet. Oops. Flip it. Okay. So now we move over to these units over here. Okay. So Crawford disordered. I don't know that I need this one on. I guess it does help a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, okay, so that unit is in line. They've got a strength of 4. Minus 1 for being disordered, so a strength of 3. And the target is in column. So we're back to 4, strength of 4. An 8. Okay, which is no effect. Okay. Let me move this over here a little bit so I can. All right. So, okay, so we got a skirmisher here. Can fire here. They have a skirmisher. So they're in column. That cancels itself out. And this skirmisher, okay, they're disordered, so that cancels out. So we're at 0. 64. I think you have to be 69 at 0. Yeah, so no effect. And this, okay, we have a skirmisher here, but that's going to be all. Okay, now let's pull back here. Now we have to do the defensive artillery. Non-phasing, they call it the non-phasing player's artillery. What is this? Oh, he was on that road. Okay. Oh, well, he's out of ammo, that's what. Okay, so do have this artillery unit here. And they're going to be able to fire at this unit. So put this down. Yeah. Okay. So let's move in here. So we've got strength of 4, 1, 2, 3, into their flank. to be +2, so we're going to be at a strength of 6. Okay, 62 is going to be morale check -10. They rolled a 19, so they failed their morale check, and they go to shaken. Now they're going to be forced back, and as they're forced back, this unit is going to be able to fire on them. This unit. And they're in columns, so it's just going to be 1. They're disordered, so that's going to be -1, so we're at 0. 69, that's what they have to have, 69. Okay, so 69 is morale check. And they rolled a 53. -10 puts them at 43. +3 puts them at 46. Okay, they passed. But they do have to retreat 1 hex. Okay. Let's see here if we've got any more artillery somewhere. Okay, I got this artillery back here. This artillery. I think that's it. Yeah. Not any other artillery for the French. Okay. So now we're ready for the movement segment. Attack orders, command status phase, movement phase. So we just have to say, okay, who's in command, who's not in command. Okay. So Bowles is here. He's got a range of 3. So 1, 2, 3. So this unit here is out of command. So we'd have to put an out of command marker with that unit right there. Now the rest of these are in command. Nightingale's over here. His command range is 3. What is this here? Okay, so that guy, that battalion, this is out of command. And doesn't matter with that guy, he's retreating. And, okay, those guys are all in command. They're in command. Okay, let's see. We'd have to go way over here to see, of course, those artillery units, we don't have to worry about them right now. So Crawford, where's Hill at? Oh, Hill's right there. Okay. All right. So these guys are all in command. All right. What happened? Where's the rest of Hill's troops? Is that Hill's running back here? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Is that all he's got? No, he should have. I should have 1, 2, 3, 4. He should have 4. Does he have one that's like mixed in here somewhere? Oh, yeah. He has a range of what? 3? 1, 2, okay, 3. So, all right. All right, we'll start our movement over here. So, let's see. He should be, let's see, he should be facing like that. He's in line. All right, so we'll move Bow's group first. All right, so he can either attack here or he could attack there. If he goes here, he's not in this guy's flank. The other thing is you have cavalry approaching right there. This next turn, this cavalry is going to be pouncing. There's cavalry right here. And they're going to be pouncing on anything they can find. So, they need to get rid of this guy so that artillery can open up and go somewhere. But I want to see, okay, I want to check to see if artillery can prolong into zone of control if a friendly unit is there. I know that they're not allowed to move into a zone of control. So I don't know how those guys over here, I kind of messed these guys up over here. I'll have to look to see who was placed where. So let me stop here and then I'll come back and I want to check that out because if I can, I want to prolong those that artillery in there with this unit here. One thing is that on a, no, it's not. Maybe I'll prolong it right there and not into here. It'd be better off if I could prolong it. I could move it up here. It doesn't have enough movement to get up there. 6. So it would only be able to move to here. All right, let's see what happens if I prolong it, if I can. Okay, I'm back, and let's see, this is page 71, and this has to do with zone of control, and it clearly states artillery, foot artillery cannot voluntarily enter enemy zone of control. So, that doesn't, this doesn't allow them, even if if they have a friendly unit in there, they still can't move in there voluntarily. Now they can prolong out of an enemy zone of control, but they cannot move into voluntarily. So we can't do that. So if we prolong, we'd have to prolong somewhere other than right there. So one thing we can do is just prolong right there. Okay, and then that's going to be on this higher level. So they're going to be able to see if cavalry or something approaches here, then, you know, we might be able to get some reaction fire by that unit. Now, we have to decide what are we going to do with this unit. Now, it's shaken. So, but it can still assault. We can turn an assault either here or there. Now, if we turn an assault here, we're going to have this shrub to help against any cavalry attacks. And shrub, okay, is light density, but it adds a +1 to CVM. So that is shrub is see, it's not a hexed obstacle. But it does add a +1 for the defender. Does not block line of sight. Okay. So here, even if we attack this unit, we're not going to be in its flank, because when he's in column, a unit in column has 3 front hexes. Okay. But I could attack this one. Oops. The other thing is, you got to be careful about this charge zone. Okay. Because this cavalry, okay, it's battle cavalry. Right here, okay, they've got a reaction zone. And so he's in line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. His reaction zone, I think I've already used. Let's see, yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay. So here, here, and of course, even here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't have any more blue blocks, but I could put that there. Okay, so he can react. If I move this unit in here, this cavalry can react. He just has to pass his morale. So you know, he can look out there and see the dust and hear the hooves and, you know, the bugles, and so he can look out there and see those horses approaching. And he doesn't want to put himself in a position where he can allow this cavalry to react. So he could turn to here. Okay, he's not, that would force this, unless he's forced to go forward, and then he'd still be in shrub, which would help a little. But more than likely, he's going to end up breaking because he's already shaken. But thing is, he goes to here, he's going to be fighting, he's got Leçon, but they're shaken, so that's -3. So they got a pretty good shot here, man. This guy's got a 0 CV. Not very good at all. So they've got a pretty good shot at. So he's going to move, but if he moves into here, cavalry can react. But if he moves into here, cavalry can't. So he's going to turn and he's going to assault. Going to assault, and he's in the correct formation for his tactical. The British assaulted in line, so he's going to go here and assault. All right. And the thing is, he's not really going to, it's not going to go to cold steel. It's somebody's going to end up breaking. But there it is. So if I decided I wanted to assault with these two, or even say just this one, okay, I could, but because we're not moving, okay, there's no advance, then what happens is, let's see which one it is. It's not that one. Not that one. Adjacent. It's minus 20 to the roll. So they don't want that. So that's the only assault we're going to have right there. Okay. Now over here, this is Nightingale's. So he's in command. There's Nightingale right there. So, all right. He should be limbered. He should be flipped over to his, he's moving. Okay, so I don't need that. All right, so he's going to move to here. So turn, go, let's see, I think that's what it costs to go up a slope. 1 plus 1, so that's 1, 2, and then 4 to turn over. That skirmisher stays there. Nightingale's going to move. That's not his. He's going to move with that artillery. Okay. These guys are shaken. They can only move 4. So I'm going to move 1, 2 right there. And they're in column. They were, I guess they were still out of command, but I can take that off now. Wellesley is going to move up here to help get these guys out of shaken. Well, really what he needs to do is turn that guy back. He needs to come in here and help this guy try to recover instead of rout away. And then if we look here, you know, I don't know if excuse me. Let's see here. SCDs can be in villages. I don't know. I guess you can have your skirmishers out. that the SED, they have to be in column if you're in a village, because village is medium density. Okay. So it would behoove them to throw out their skirmishers. So that's what he's going to do. I don't think that draws any reaction fire. Now, we could turn, let's say, turn this guy into an SED. Put him on the top. Now we got more firepower. This guy here, put out a skirmisher. At least help with defense. These guys want to get rid of their skirmisher. Let's see, they could actually turn, but then they've got to worry about these guys. So they're going to stay like they are. Now this artillery is going to prolong back. And this guy here, okay, so if he turns to a skirmisher, that's changing formation. Let's see, I got to put a disordered marker on that artillery too. So I think, let's see. Let me just stop it here. Okay, so deploying regular skirmishers do not cost movement points. So no reaction fire. But when these units go to become an SED, like I did right here with that unit, then that does cost movement points and would draw reaction fire from this stack here, which has a skirmisher and is disordered, so that's 0. But they still get to fire. Oh, got a 95. Jeez. And then also, let's see here. I wanted to check, let's see, if I go to reaction fire, let's go ahead and do that fire result first. Okay, so 0, we got 95. That's going to be a morale minus 10. And they rolled a 0, 0, 0. So they failed. So they are going to become shaken. Okay. And they don't get their formation change. And they move back. Like that. Okay, the other thing was I wanted to check about that artillery. I don't think if you still have a unit that's in the hex, I don't think it's just like they pass through by them. So there's not a opportunity for reaction fire, even though they did use okay, let me find, oh, it's probably a little further back here. Fire combat, charge zone, reaction fire, okay. Combat units that voluntarily change formation within or exit the enemy zone of control of infantry trigger reaction fire. Okay, units with skirmisher deployed, included SED, have an extended reaction fire capability. Okay, that's coming in or leaving. But okay, units that move into a hex already occupied by friendly units do not trigger reactions. Units that leave a hex that remains occupied by other friendly units do not trigger reactions. Okay, so that artillery moving, prolonging away would not. So there that is. All right. Let's get, let's see, we want to move over here, right there, to that artillery unit. Well, also, let's see, well, this unit here, they didn't throw out a skirmisher. Oh, we got this SED unit. He can come, we can pop him to the front. Okay. All right. So we have that. Now, when they do that, they are in this artillery unit's reaction zone. So when that happens, even though they're in that village, we've got reaction fire right there from that artillery. Okay. So they are still in just regular column. That SED has not been able to change yet. So, okay, so we've got a strength of, oh, I forgot, Delaboard adds +2. I didn't do that earlier. So that's 6, starts with 6. Canister, because he's 2 hexes away. So that's 3 more. So we're at 9. Okay, so we're at 9. They're in the village, so that's -1, but they're in column, so +1. I don't know if you'd actually, I guess you would, because they're still going to be packed. So we're going to have a strength of 9. Wow, that might have made a difference. That probably would have made a difference with that fire combat there. I think they were still forced back. They were still shaken. So maybe not. Might have got a, might have caused a step loss, but okay. All right, so we've got 9. 70. Okay, 70, is this going to be a morale check -15? They've got that leader. with them. Burn, okay. And they rolled an 81. So the guy that was on top, 36, okay, so they're going to pass. So they're going to be able to go ahead and perform their change there. Missed opportunity by that artillery. But there we go. So that I got that changed. And now we want to move this artillery up. They can't cross this. It's supposed to be a dry stream bed. They can't cross that. They don't want to move into there, because if they move there, this artillery will be able to fire on them. So they move here and then unlimber, right like that. Facing that way. And let's see what we do over here with some of these other guys. They're going to keep their skirmishers for now. This unit here, I think, maybe you have to be in general. Maybe you can't be. You have to be in normal morale to deploy skirmishers. Let's see. Only the top unit can deploy. I guess they can. So I think we want to throw up a skirmisher just because it'll give us some protection. So Crawford is going to have this unit throw up a skirmisher. Over here, this unit going to flip over to an SED. And this unit here, this unit wants to go to line. So let's roll. Well, it would change to line and then roll. So face that way. All right. 60, so they passed. Okay. Then over here, those guys, they want to go to square. So they go to square, and then they roll. I'm going to get rid of that. Then they roll. Okay, they got a +5. They rolled a 13, so no, they do not pass. So they're going to be disordered. this unit here stays in a square. Okay. That's all of the movement. Now we can go over here to the next. We don't have reserve movement. So now we can go here to the only close combat that we have. So we have the assault procedure. So we've got, this is the defender, this is the attacker. So they're assaulting, they are shaken. Here's a shaken marker. Let's get rid of this. Shaken. Okay, the target is shaken and has 2 leaders. And we use the higher level leader. This unit here is not involved because they were out of command. You have to be in command in order to assault. So, Solonak. Yeah, okay. Solonak was the replacement for Lasson. Okay, well, we have Lasson here. He's going to add 5. So, all right. So, no empty target hex, no retreat before combat. And so we go down to the attacker checks morale. So, got a 33, minus 10. Okay, rolled a 67. Okay, so the attacker passed. So they're going to get the +2 to their offensive fire. Okay, and now the defender has to check their morale. Okay. Salted, no, salt, no. Okay, so they get a +5 from Lasson, and they rolled a 53, so they passed. So they get the +2, okay, to their offensive fire. All right, so we remove any skirmishers, which we don't have. And we go to defensive fire first. So they are in column. So they have a strength of 1. They're shaken. So that's 0. They get +2 here. So that's where we're at. We've got strength of 2. 27 has no effect. Okay. So now the attacker does their offensive fire. They have a strength of 5, minus 1. And they're also in shrub there. Minus 1, so they're at 4. They get the +2. So they're at 6. They're in column, but they're also in shrub. So that cancels out. So we're sitting at, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. The fire wasn't effective. Didn't call for morale check. So we're looking at a strength of 6. Oh, 27. Okay, that's still going to be a morale check, which is going to be minus 20. And they've got minus 10 more is minus 30, plus 5, so minus 25. They rolled an 85, so that puts them at 60. So they held their ground. And both of them would end up disordered, but they're already disordered, so, or worse off. So that's where we're at. Okay, and that's going to end the British phase. And as I pointed out earlier, the French have cavalry and artillery on its way. Okay. Both of these artillery units belong to Delabord. So I don't know why I have them going that way. They need to be going, well, I guess, to assist over here on this side, but that okay. But this cavalry is on its way. Two, one. How come 2-1? Oh yeah, he's Tomaries. He should be going that way. He's got to be on the move toward wherever. There he is, right here. Oh, they're out of ammo. Get on there. Get rid of that. So we've got the brigade of cavalry on its way to cause havoc over here on the British right in this area. They're right there. They're coming. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns left. I don't know how much that one brigade can do. They can surely put the British into squares, and that's where the artillery would come into use. And it's saying, well, that's assets, so he can assign those assets to Weiss right here. Assign them to Weiss to come over here. So that's probably what's going to happen. And I'll find out what order this bunch should be in. I don't remember who was in the front and so forth. So probably have the light units in front and have them flipped over. Oh, well, that unit can't flip over. You'd have to just put an SED marker on him, and then they can move through terrain a little easier. But yeah, they want to get over here and then swing this way. Wellesley doesn't have anyone to spare to maybe one battalion. That's all he'd have. This unit right here to come over here. Maybe this SCD unit could come too. They've got to try to smash. They weren't successful here. They need to get rid of this battalion here, but they weren't able to dislodge it. So this is going to come down. It's going to come down to the very end. Let's see what if we're looking at. Okay, this is in the Western Ridge module. Let's start on the Western Ridge. Okay, so the victory conditions. If the French eliminate any of the 3 British train units, increase the French victory 1 level. Okay, so that's these units back here, which they haven't even got close to yet. Okay, for the British, minor victory inflict more step losses on the French than are received. Now, right now, step losses. Is that what it's? Yeah, step losses. So some of these don't have but 1 step. That's 2 steps there. All of these guys would be 2 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 20 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 32. Okay, so right now, the which we haven't counted step losses out here, but they don't have that. Okay, that's a minor victory. Major victory, hold all British set-up area hexes at the end of the scenario and inflict more step losses on the French than are received. Decisive, drive the French from the Champ de Bataille. All French units from the play area. Well, that's not going to happen. Okay. French minor victory. So right now we got a French minor victory. Okay. Major victory. Drive all the British from the Champ de Bataille. Bataille. Okay, that's well, no. Major victory, drive all British units from all hexes east of hex row 16, or capture Vimeiro Hill and Vimeiro. 16. Well, yeah, let's see. Drive all British units from all hexes east of hex column 16. Well, yeah, they've already done that. There's 16 right there. Hex 16 is laid this across here. That's there. There's not any British units. You know, there should be British units over here. Okay, helping to stop where they can retreat back and get loaded back on ships if necessary. So their retreat path is in jeopardy. They'd have to get some infantry, move those infantry around here to attack these squares here. All right. And then the decisive was to drive the British from the battlefield. Champ de Bataille. And I don't think it's really that much different if you look at the companion book. Let's see. Thought, so what scenario is it? That's scenario 4. I guess it's not. I thought this was scenario 4. I've been putting the wrong scenario number, I guess, on each one of these. What is the Vimeiro French frontal assault? I guess I should have this as the Western Ridge scenario 2. I thought I was, what is the deal here? No, this here is Rolicia. Maybe is it, let's see, is it up here earlier? Yeah, I guess it is. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah. What? Why do they have two different ones here? They do that. I love the historical information they give you. Okay, and General Pierre Margaron. There's General Louis Henry Lisson, Solinak, Kellerman. Just the see, this is scenario pack. Okay, this book contains additional scenarios for first victories. I don't know why they didn't, like, okay, call this like scenario whatever number, okay, the last one, whatever the last one was, and just keep numbering them. Okay, they started over with their numbering. Okay, so scenario 4, that's your plan. That's what we're doing here. I knew it was in here. So in this, okay, if you're going by the victory conditions here, okay, then they're a little bit different than the Western Ridge. So you've got hold Vimeiro and Vimeiro Hill. So far, they're holding one hill. Okay, major victory: hold Vimeiro Hill and inflict more losses. Decisive: drive the French from Champ de Bataille. Champ de du Champ de Bataille. All right, and then if you look at the French, okay, it's capture Vimeiro Hill, capture Vimeiro Hill and Vimeiro, or drive the British from. It doesn't. There's nothing about more losses on one side or the other, but of course we would take a look at that. But presently, the French, they're going to have a hard push in the center there. And that's right there is where we would have some clash of steel, cold steel, right there in Vimeiro. But this leader is locked in here, and he's going to have to get out of there to get back here so he can. And I don't know. I should have moved him before. Moved him out of there. So, but you get so much in this game that you can make no complaint about that. I mean, the quality, okay, of everything is at such a high level. Not only do you have the game, but you've got all this background information on leaders and the two battles. One's really like a skirmish. But not only that, but you also have the solo part of the game with the cards and everything. And even you've got, examples of play using the cards. So if I pull back here and look at the book again, so you've got the cards, and then they show you like the command segment, fire segment. They go through each of the segments for you. And so, then you've got, all this battle plan stuff. It's just really a nice presentation of everything. That's Rolicia. And then here we have, right here we've got Toledo, Fontanelle, Ventosa, Vimeiro, Maceira, Rio Maceira. This is, I guess they call it a dry stream bed. I don't know if that would be a dry stream or coming right off. Well, both of them are coming off that. Whether or not that would be a stream. I for a while I considered that a stream. I didn't, not till I read into the companion book there and found. Okay. So there's just so much that you get with this. So, you really can't argue that, so much here. You got designer notes, but you also have all of this. This companion book is, let's see how many pages is it total? It's high quality. And you even have the brigade game, you've got the play aid for that, the movement and so forth, which, I look at that and it's just like, whoa, I don't, but you've got the charts here in case, I guess, if something happens to your charts, you can print off this, okay? All of this, you could print any of this off that you needed, all the charts, so, and the other stuff here. For keeping up with artillery fire and so forth. So 164 pages before you have all the charts and stuff. They give you further reading, all of that. So not much on the designer notes. That's it. It's right here. But very high quality. I think Lock and Load, they've just outdone themselves with this. I think the quality here is so much better, I think, even than their own. Some of the other stuff, like the Heroes series that they have. And, of course, you got to look to the designer, because he's the one that's like, hey, this is what I want. And he's got people telling him, this and that and all that. So I'm sure he's got people that have contributed a lot to his ideas about, what to include. But the designer's got to be given a lot of credit for what he's designed. And a system that makes sense to me. Historically, it matches up with what I read and some of these books. And, I've got these 2 books here, but I've got another one. Well, I've got a lot more than this. I mean, I've got quite a few books. I mean, I got lots of books on the Napoleonic age, period of history, so much that, and I guess I could put a list like, of course, this here is going to cover more than just the Napoleonic age. Let's see here. This, of course, well, maybe it does focus. Let's see. But it's got a lot of really good information. So, of course, it's got what's happening in the American Revolution. Okay. Iberian Peninsula, northern France and Low Countries, India, So, Age of the Brown Bess. And, okay, we got lots of good pictures and so forth in here, too. There's a painting of Wellesley himself, Arthur Wellesley. This is Goya in Madrid after his victory at Salamanca. And then you have other leaders, so forth. There's the Moore, John Moore. But a lot of good information here. More images and stuff of different things, pictures. So Richard Holmes, Redcoat, the British soldier in the age of horse and musket, and Norton Publishing. Norton and Company, New York and London. So I could put that down in the information. And also you have Wellington's Army. And this is Sir Charles Oman. Take that out. That had some talk about advantages of skirmishing screens. I think I've already talked about that. But let's see, let me tear off a little bit here of this to put in here. So I want to look back over that. This is Green Hill Books. And let's see, I got it at Half Price Bookstore. There's another image of Duke of Wellington, Arthur Wellesley. This is, I think, it looks like it's probably at a later stage in his life. Let's see, 1913, W.C. Oman. So, let's see, we got a few images here or there. Lord Hill. Oops. Graham. I don't know who that is. So Picton at Badajoz, Picton in Wellington, Crawford's Falls. So failure at Burhouse. Just some really good information there about Wellington's Army. 1809 to 1814. So that deals with his exploits in the Peninsula War. And of course, it's not going to have Battle of Waterloo, but it's dealing with the Army specifically in the Peninsula War. So that's a really good book. Green Hill Books, and almost positive you can get this at Half Price Books, which I guess I can put the website information. And then the other book, I have it in another location of the house, and it has to do specifically about the Peninsula War, and it's really a great book. And I need to get it and put that reference in the notes information section, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called now, but put that there so that you can maybe purchase those books if you'd like. And so that's going to be the end of this turn. So we're going to move on to the next, which is going to be the 1440 turn. Yeah, okay. We don't know whose turn it's going to be. And I guess I need to count up losses, kind of. Not that if you're playing the regular rules, you don't have to. The losses are not that important. It's Vimeiro and Vimeiro Hill, apparently. But with the assault on the Western Ridge, it's more on. You can get a victory through losses. So that's that all depends on which one you're using. I'm actually put that back over here. I'm actually using the assault on the Western Ridge because I have that map out, and I had units that were set up on that map and had to move over. So, and for the, I don't know how many turns, I was identifying units that were out, that didn't have an order as out of order, out of command, not out of order, but out of command. I was combining those two, and they're not. So just because you don't have an order isn't going to slow you down. You can still move at full potential. If you're out of command, now you're like hesitant. You're moving at a much slower pace because you're not for sure where you need to be, where you need to go. So that slowed the movement of Wellesley's forces so that they weren't able to get over into position like they should have. They should have been able to move over to the eastern ridge over here where Fontenelle's at. I'll put a red disc there. That's where they should have been able to get to and set up. And it would have been like they would have been across this way. And they had to set up across this way. And not only, well, the other thing was they had this, that they've got the Maciera River that slowed them down. So in order to use the bridges, they had to be in road column. And when they're in road column, and then they move out of road column, you're having to roll. Well, I guess you're having to roll either way. You have to roll for crossing the river for war morale. And you have to, which is basically, morale's more than just their mental, psychological state. It's also their organization. You know, when they cross the river, they're not organized. They've got to reorganize. They've got to get back into formation. And so when they are in road column and then they want to get into line, the same thing. The men have got to move, and better trained men are going to get in position easily, and less trained is going to be a big mess. So when we're dealing with morale, we're not dealing just with their mental, emotional psychological state, we're dealing with organization. You know, how organized are they? Are they, where they're supposed to be, or is there some confusion? So, all right, so that's the end of that, and we're pick up next time with the next turn, which is the 1440 turn. Like I said, we've got 5 turns left.